I was never the favorite child. I knew this by the time I was 7 years old. It was my birthday. My mother had baked a cake. Small, simple, store-bought frosting. I remember sitting at the table in my best dress, waiting. Then my sister Emma walked in crying because her friend had cancelled their playdate. Within minutes, my birthday cake was forgotten. My mother was on the couch holding Emma, stroking her hair, whispering that everything would be okay. I blew out my candles alone. Nobody noticed. That was the first time I understood my place in this family. Not the youngest, not the oldest, just the one in the middle who was expected to be fine. Always fine. Emma was sensitive and needed protecting. My brother Daniel was the firstborn and could do no wrong. And I was Sarah, steady, responsible, invisible. I told myself it would get better as we grew up. Did not. In high school, Emma joined the dance team. My parents drove 2 hours every weekend for her competitions. I won a regional science award that same year. My father said, "Good job" at dinner and then asked Emma what she wanted to eat. In college, I worked 2 jobs to pay my own tuition. Emma dropped out after 1 semester because she was finding herself. My parents paid her rent for 3 years without blinking. I never asked them for a single dollar. I graduated with honors. Got a good job. Built my own life quietly and carefully, the way you build something when you know nobody is coming to help you. And then I met James. James was nothing like the chaos I had grown up in. He was calm. He listened when I talked. On our 3rd date, I told him about the birthday cake story, the one I had never told anyone, and he was silent for a long time. Then he said, "You deserved better than that." 4 words. I had waited 26 years to hear them. We dated for 2 years. He proposed on a Tuesday evening in our kitchen. No grand gesture. Just him on one knee with a ring his grandmother had left him. I said yes before he finished the sentence. I wanted a real wedding. Not extravagant but real. A venue with flowers and music and a sit-down dinner. People who loved us gathered together. I had dreamed about it quietly for years. Not because I needed the party, but because I needed the proof. Proof that I existed. That someone would show up for me. I planned everything myself. Booked the venue 14 months in advance. Chose every flower, every song, every detail with care. James helped on weekends. We paid for it entirely on our own. I did not ask my parents for money. I did not want to owe anyone anything. I sent invitations 8 months early. Everyone confirmed. My mother said she was so excited. My father said he had already bought a suit. Emma said she would be my bridesmaid. For the first time in my life, I believed them. 3 days before the wedding, Emma called me. She had news. She had started dating someone new, a man named Vince, and he had invited her to his cousin's birthday party. A big party, apparently. A boat, a DJ, an open bar. Same weekend as my wedding. "I'm sure you understand," she said. "You know how hard it's been for me lately." I did not say anything for a long time. "Emma," I finally said. "My wedding is in 3 days." I know," she said. "But this is really important for my relationship. Vince's family is everything to him. I have to be there." Hung up. An hour later, my mother called. She said she and my father had talked. The drive to my venue was long. Emma really needed support right now. They were going to the party with her. Just for a few hours. Maybe they would make it to my reception later. They did not make it. On my wedding day, I woke up at 6 in the morning. I did my own makeup in the bathroom mirror. My best friend Clara helped me into my dress. We did not talk much. She knew. Had told her the night before, and she had held my hand and said nothing, which was exactly right. The ceremony was at noon. James was already at the altar when I walked in. He saw my face. I had tried to hide it, but he always saw through me, and his eyes went soft. He mouthed the words, "I see you," across the room. I did not cry until that moment. The seats where my family should have been sitting were empty. 4 chairs with white ribbons tied to them. Nobody sat there the entire ceremony. I had asked the coordinator not to remove them. I wanted to feel it completely. I did not want to pretend. We were pronounced husband and wife at 12:34 p.m. Clara cheered louder than anyone in the room. That evening my mother sent a text. "Sorry we couldn't make it, sweetheart. You know how Emma gets. I'm sure your day was beautiful. Call me when you get a chance." I read it 3 times. Then I turned my phone off and danced with my husband until midnight. We had saved for 3 years for our honeymoon. James had researched every detail. A private villa in the Maldives. Overwater bungalow, glass floor, our own stretch of ocean. 10 days completely off the grid. I told nobody where we were going. Not my mother, not Emma, nobody. They had not earned that information. We arrived on a Sunday afternoon. I stood on the deck of our villa and looked at the water, that impossible blue that does not look real, and I felt something loosen in my chest, something I had been holding for a very long time. For 10 days, I did not think about the empty chairs. On the last morning, I posted one photo on Instagram. Just one. James and I on the deck, laughing at something, the ocean behind us, the sky pink and gold. I put my phone down and went to have breakfast. By the time I picked my phone up an hour later, it had exploded. 61 notifications. My mother had called 4 times. Emma had called twice. My brother Daniel, who never called me, not once in 3 years, had left a voicemail. My mother's first text. "Is that the Maldives? Why didn't you tell us?" Emma's text. "Oh wow, babe. I guess you're doing fine without us." Then, an hour later, a different text from Emma. Softer, quieter. "Sarah, I'm sorry I missed your wedding. I think I made a mistake." I stared at that message for a long time. My father's voicemail was 2 minutes long. His voice was careful and slow, the way it gets when he is trying not to show that he is upset. He said they had been thinking about the wedding. He said my mother had looked at the photos Clara posted online. He said they were proud of me. He said he was sorry they had not been there. He said, "We should have chosen you." 4 words. Almost the same 4 words James had said to me on our 3rd date. Except James had said them first. I did not call my father back that day. Or that week. When I finally called 3 weeks later, I kept it short. I told him I had heard his voicemail. I told him I appreciated it. I told him that James and I were happy and that our life was good. He asked if we could have dinner soon, all of us together as a family. I said I would think about it. And for the first time in my life, I meant it as an answer, not as a way to avoid conflict, not as a way to keep the peace. I genuinely did not know yet. I needed time to decide what I wanted, what they deserved, what I was willing to give. I hung up and sat in the quiet of my kitchen. Outside the window, the afternoon was ordinary and unremarkable, and I was, for the first time in as long as I could remember, completely fine. Not fine in the way I used to be fine, invisible, overlooked, pretending. Fine in the way that is real.